Coin toss. Decided to take the football. Williams will be set to return it, averaging about 25 yards per kick return so far this season. He's yet to break one to take it home, but a huge game here at BC Place. Thank you very much for joining us. We are underway on TSN, and Williams will take it right back up the middle of the field, just outside the 35. A flag on the first play of the ball game as Vernon Adams Jr. back and ready to go for the BC Lions.
We'll see if they ask Calgary to kick
Offside.
this football again.
Calgary number 45. 5-yard penalty.
They will.
Free kick.
They'll kick it over again. Now that cover team's got to travel another 45, 50 yards. See how much it improves the field position. They would have started, what, on the 30-yard line?
VA was very excited to get out there. He has to wait just a little bit longer. He looked like he wanted to get in the second half last week when they were obviously dealing with that Dane Evans injury against Winnipeg, but he does get the start here, out since week 7.
Trying to get a bit of a rest for the cover team right out of the gate. I mean, it's the first play of the game, so it's not like they're fatigued, but just trying to catch their breath, taking a second, a deliberate second by the Calgary coaching staff to get them back and lined up.
Paredes will get set to kick it away again. Two most accurate kickers in CFL history in the house this afternoon. Paredes at number 1, and Sean White 0.1 of a percentage point right behind him. So kicking game should be in good hands unless I just jinxed it. But now we are underway officially again. It'll come down to Williams at the 20 on the near side of the field this time. Finds a little bit of space. Stays on his feet and then is tripped up from behind before he thought he was going to escape free, but a good return up to the 45 and a look at this BC starting offense.
Well, I agree with the coach in the panel that was talking about the interior of the BC Lion offensive line being matched up against Mike Rose. Who wins that battle may just win the game tonight, and there is no Justin McInnes will play for Dominic Rhymes. No Dominic Rhymes in the lineup, the receiving corps for BC tonight.
McInnes has been involved quite a bit in this offense already, almost 300 yards receiving for McInnes, with members of this BC offense being banged up at times. Here's Adams on the run to his right. Catch of the year.
Well, Vernon Adams with that knee injury is wearing a brace for the first time in his football journey, and he shows some mobility as he's going to get Javon Catoy out of the backfield with a deep out here. 21-yard game, but I like how he negotiated the pocket, moved without thinking about that knee or knee brace.
They work from the Calgary 44. Mizell. Oh, my goodness. Get out of here. Mizell gets absolutely popped by the league leader in tackles, Micah Alway. That looked like it hurts.
Woo! This is a hit. Watch number. My goodness. 57, Micah Alway in the hole. Scrape, and pow, right there.
Oof.
Yikes.
That'll get you involved in the football game early, won't it?
Oh, man. Meet the brick wall that's wearing number 57.
Hey, still got a yard out of it. Now here's Adams on 2nd and 9. Over the middle again, and that falls incomplete, but a flag thrown on Kobe Williams, who is in coverage against Keon Hatcher.
Pass interference. Calgary number 0. Automatic first down.
And no Dom Rhymes in the lineup, so Keon Hatcher is going to be a target that I'm sure Vernon Adams will try and lock into, playing that slot back spot. Here he goes on that deep dig route, coming across the middle. A little bit of contact. I think when he twisted him at the very end is where the flag came out.
Initial contact looked like it was going to get let go. Yeah,
it was fine. But that twist and turning the receiver is going to get the flag.
25 yards on that penalty, and the Lions are in business in the red zone for the first time today. Adams, near side, wide open. Collins pushed out of bounds inside the 10, and the Lions moving the ball well against this Calgary defense.
Well, Mike Rose is on a bit of a tear up front for their defensive line. He's had 6 sacks on the season. That's 3rd in the Canadian Football League, or tied for 3rd. And then you take a look at Micah Alway. We already saw him in action, leading the league in defensive tackles, and just got off to that big hit out of this out of the game here. And Jonathan Moxey, 1 interception last week against the Argos. First of the season.
BC clicking at 52% inside the red zone this season. First and goal from the Calgary 6. 3 options, wide side right for Adams. Looks that way, now dumps it to the left. Touchdown! Early strike from the Lions into the hands of Alex Hollins. And Vernon Adams looks mighty fine.
This is a red zone play that the Lions are going to draw this one up specifically for this part of the field because they're anticipating man-to-man. Usually defenses down in this area are going to go with some pressure and some man-to-man defense behind it. Too big a field to play zone down there. And Hollins goes from the right side of the formation all the way across the field. Tough to track a guy down.
Sean White to make it a 7-0 lead early here in the first quarter. And he smoothed that one right through.
Defense that you don't see very often in this part of the field, but you see how wide open Hollins is on that throw and catch.
Drawn up nicely. 3rd touchdown of the year for Hollins, who's been outstanding here in his 2nd season with the BC Lions. And the home side took the ball to start the game, marched down the field, punched in 7. Here's Barnes on the return for Calgary. It's a good one. Takes it all the way outside the 45. There's a flag at the 36. Jake Mayer getting that win last week. Extremely efficient.
Well, he set a record. Calgary Stampeder record for completion percentage over 90. And I know there were some saying
holding
that
Calgary number 90.
a lot of those throws were check downs and bubble screens and things like that. Yeah, that's fine. When you rush for 137 or get 137 rush yards from your tailback, they were over 137 as a team. But when you get that kind of run game from your tailback, that's all you really need to, to make sure your offense has got the balance, throw those bubble screens, and they got the big win over the previously undefeated Toronto Argonauts.
That was their recipe for success against Toronto.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say Jake Mayer doesn't push the ball down the field. He had a 450-yard game this year and has had 3 300-yard games. A flag here as they get it into the hands of Kadeem Carey, who's back for the first time since week 1. But this was a hold, and it'll be brought back.
Holding Calgary number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
4 penalties already in this game against Calgary for 50 yards.
Got to stop that, but take a look at Bryce Bell, who is playing that left tackle spot again. This is 2nd week in a row. I don't know about that one.
Bell, the 11th overall pick back in 2021.
Yeah, again, back to the overall philosophy that it's got to be a real penalty, like a penalty where you, as an official, have to throw your flag because it's so egregious. You just have to do it.
It's a significant advantage
because that, that just kind of changes the game early on here, and that was really nothing.
1st and 20 for Mayer. Dumps it off to Carey again. Spin move to the 10, wrapped up immediately. And it'll be 2nd and very long for this Calgary offense.
So they get Kadeem Carey back, and that's good news for the front 4 or front 5 because they got Dedrick Mills and Kadeem Carey on the roster. 137 yards rushing for Mills last week. The offensive line played great. And there's Carey along with Odoms Duke. Odoms Dukes is back in the lineup, missing last week due to injury.
A couple big pieces back offensively. Obviously, you're still going to see a lot of Dedrick Mills mixed into this offense with how terrific he's done in the absence of Kadeem Carey. But after a loss of 1, it's 2nd and 21 early in this game for Calgary. Mayer in trouble, taken down heavily just inside the 10. Amir Siddiqui gets there.
Amir Siddiqui will be part of the rotation with no Sione Tahema in this one, dressed for the Lions tonight, so he's going to get a chance to get some reps at defensive end. Good backside pressure here. He's going to try and get contained. He wants to contain first, but then stays with it. And as Jake Mayer crawls up in the pocket, he's there to shut the door.
3rd and 23, so an excellent start for the BC Lions offense, and just as good a start on the defensive side of the ball. Williams takes this from Calgary territory and is wrapped up. There is a flag back at the 10, and we will sort that out when we return.
Got the Lions season off to a great start. Sitting right now at 6-2.
Interesting season on how that 6-2 came together, because they started 3-0, then had that big loss to Toronto, then won 3 more, and then had a big loss to Winnipeg. See if they can put together another little streak here. Off to a nice start. They work from their own 48, and they'll toss it to Hollins, and look at the room. Look at the room for Alex Hollins. He's away to the 35 before they track him down. Alway was there to save a possible touchdown.
What a good-looking play. Just the change of direction and misdirection that puts the defense in a bit of a bind. You've got action going this way. You've got action coming back, and a little pitch out to Hollins underneath, and there it is with a lead blocker on the kick out. A nice 27-yard gain. That was a good-looking play.
That 6'5" Katoy is that lead blocker. Adams got rid of this one quickly. Calgary saying it was incomplete. Of course, Hollins will say that he hauled it in, and the officials will agree.
Yeah, Trey Roberson is saying that was incomplete. Let's take another look. And no, hit his thigh and stayed off the turf. It's a good catch.
4th catch of the game already for Hollins. 7 yards on that one gives him 41, and had the touchdown earlier in the quarter. If you have him in fantasy, you're loving this start. 2nd and 3. Mizell trying to stretch it out. It'll be close.
That's really the design of this play offensively, is just to string everything out. Just keep blocking this way. Have all your lead guys that are going to come across, have them block that way, and then Mizell can just pick his hole. See, you've got a couple of lead blockers and receivers coming out there, and just keep running it till you find a hole. Now, the Calgary Stampeders did a nice job of stringing that to the sideline, but not before he got the first down.
BC working from the Calgary 25 with an early lead here. 4 options to the wide side left here of Vernon Adams. They'll give it to Mizell, and Mizell is tracked down and taken down by Mike Rose.
Great pursuit for an interior defensive lineman to have that kind of mobility and quickness. That was linebacker style for Mike Rose.
Having an all-star caliber season, isn't he? 6 sacks already for big 41 there in the middle of that defense. Calgary's defense had trouble stopping BC early in this game. This would be a big one here. 2nd and 8. Adams. McKinnis, far side. Williams in coverage. A flag back by the quarterback.
And a flag down by the sideline, I believe. Vernon Adams went way over to the sideline official and wanted to talk about Kobe Williams' technique and the coverage of Justin McKinnis on that out route. It looks like this may go against BC.
Legal block, hands to the face, BC number 59. Penalties decline. It's 3rd down.
Kent Perkins, the right tackle, hands to the face. They'll decline and set up a field goal attempt for Sean White.
Take a good look at it right here, and it's on Mike Rose. You know, this is the one thing that the great D linemen we don't really track all that often, is how many penalties do they draw, whether it be a defensive end off the edge that's drawing holding calls or illegal procedure calls, or right there, interior lineman with hands in the face.
White has hit 13 in a row and is perfect inside 50 on the season. This just inside the right half.
Mayer was nothing more than a game manager, and if you know quarterbacks, they hate that term. I asked him about that. He said, you know, another term we don't like that's similar is system quarterback. But he said, from my perception, I don't mind either of those terms because it is actually a skill. You have to understand the goal is to win the game. It's not to win it a certain way. It's not to win it pretty. You just have to find a way to do it. So if in certain games I've got to just manage it, I'm okay with that. From Dickinson's perspective, he doesn't believe that's what the team now needs to be limited to offensively in order to have success and to just run the ball as much as they did last game. He feels if he's got to get Jake to throw it 45 times, he's comfortable doing that. We're at a critical time in the game here, still the first quarter, but at 10-0, you want to see how much longer Calgary sticks with the running attack here.
And obviously a running attack that can be deadly, and they'll get it to Mills, who had a huge week last week, and we might see him churning against this BC defense.
Woody Barron will play outside for Sione Tehama in the starting lineup for the BC Lions, so we'll see Barron off the edge. You take a look at their linebacking core, and pretty good group there with Bo Lacumbo among the leaders in the league in defensive plays. And then back in the secondary, Gary Peters, a couple interceptions, 6 knockdowns, a lockdown corner according to the new PFF stats. Best in the league.
2nd and 6 for Mayer. Looks to his left, multiple flags as he throws. Michel incomplete, out by the BC Lions 50. I believe these flags are against Calgary.
Josh Coker and Matthew Betts, who's gone a couple of games now without a sack. He's got 10 on the season, still leads the league.
Offside, Calgary, number 14, 84. Penalties decline. It's 3rd down.
Might have been both, actually.
Yeah.
Bagleton and Barnes. A couple of Calgary receivers were moving a little bit early.
That's the issue for Calgary right now, is they're hurting themselves. Too many penalties in this first quarter.
Grace from his own 35. Williams takes it after a 42-yard kick, wrapped up almost immediately on the return by Brad Muhammad. And BC, who's been dealt pretty good hand as far as field position goes so far in this game. This will be the deepest that they have started so far. Here's a look at VA's work in his career versus the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, I want to clean this up a little bit, but yeah, pretty good numbers. 64%, almost 2,000 yards passing in those 8 games, and 2 300-yard games. But 11 of their 19 turnovers this year, the BC Lions, have come in their 2 losses. Always
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Look after the football and you win a lot of football games. Here's Adams quickly. An excellent tackle there. Mizell had nowhere to go on the play as Alway continues to do what he's been doing all year.
Yeah, worth the price of admission, is he, when you see Micah Alway, number 57, go to work. I mean, he's at the office right now, and just, even though they're down by 10, he's doing his thing. I mean, this is #1 tackler in the league, and he's getting it done early. Flying around. Calgary has a history of great linebackers in the past.
Tackle for a loss, 2nd and 12. Adams in the pocket over the middle, and that is hauled in by Justin McInnes. His first catch of the ball game is good enough for a 1st down.
Almost like he was blocking out for a rebound, and Justin McInnes is going to come from the right of your screen on a dig route that's across the middle, and he knows that Roberson is right behind him, and he just wants to try and block him out, and that's exactly what he does. Uses his body to screen Roberson from getting there, and then catch it real close to the chest.
Not a bad idea when you have a significant size advantage like McInnes does at 6'5".
Almost posting up.
Puts him over 300 yards receiving on the year. Adams throwing again, has another completion, this one on the far side of the field, and the first of the day for Lucky Whitehead.
Yeah, you know, Vernon Adams looks good. I mean, he looks dialed in. He missed a couple of starts here with the knee injury, and we've seen a little bit of movement and negotiation of the pocket. He's got that brace on, and looks like it's not bothering him at all, and distributing the ball to all of his targets.
8 of 9 for 83 yards. 5 different players with a catch so far, courtesy their quarterback, Vernon Adams. 2nd and 4 here. 5-man rush. Adams down the field for Hatcher, and he's got it. Another big one, this time to Hatcher, and that's his first catch of the ball game.
That's the accuracy that he's shown all quarter. You know, sometimes you wonder, even with veteran quarterbacks, when they're coming off injury, is it going to get them time? They need time to get back in their rhythm, get time to get that accuracy and the timing of some of these routes. Not so for VA right now. Tonight in this first quarter, he is on the money.
Surgical precision so far from Vernon Adams, and that is now 6 different players with a catch. Offensive coordinator Jordan Maximic obviously working well right now against this Calgary defense. 4 Lions out to the right of Adams. That's where he rolls. Pressure coming. Gets it away. That one hauled in as well. Right back to Hatcher for another first down, and they're knocking on the door.
That's the great example of the mobility of Vernon Adams. And it's not bothering him, that knee, at all. Here's Hatcher. Let's follow Hatcher on the route. He's going to go down and run this deep out inside route and then push it that inside, make sure he's got outside leverage, get to the sideline as quickly as possible, and look at the mobility from number 3.
18 more yards for Adams, puts him at $135 on 10 completions so far. And here they are inside the 10 again. Looking to tack on a few more from the Calgary 7. Adams over the middle. Touchdown, Hatcher! BC Lions walking all over the Stampeders here in the first quarter.
He's out there on the edge. Hatcher working with McInnes. One goes on the out, the other on the post. A little hesitation from the Calgary secondary, and that's all Vernon Adams needed.
Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the opening quarter, and the Calgary Stampeders looking a little shell-shocked against this BC Lions offense. Sean White makes it a 17-point lead in the
79 yards, 3 minutes, 52 seconds off the clock. And here is the touchdown throw to number 4.
3 catches in a row at the end of that drive to Hatcher for 59 yards over those 3 and the touchdown. His 2nd touchdown of the year.
Tell me you picked him in fantasy.
Actually, I didn't want to say anything, but I've got a Vernon Adams Hatcher stack. So that was a big touchdown in our 6-man CFL fantasy league. That's a big one. Here's Barnes on the return. Another nice push ahead by Barnes. Gets him out to about the 45. That might actually be the furthest that Calgary has been down the field so far in this football game. They really haven't got anything going offensively.
No, they haven't, but they've also hurt themselves with 5 penalties for 50 yards. So it's kept this field position disadvantage for Calgary and the advantage for the BC Lions, and they're taking advantage of it with 17 unanswered points so far.
So much time left in this football game, as we saw in Edmonton earlier in the week. They were up 22. Ended up letting it slip away to the Bombers. Got to get something going at some point, though. Here's Mayer, 1st and 10 from his own 39. And they'll give it to Kadeem Carey, and he pushes ahead almost for the full 10 yards.
Yeah, we talked to Dave Dickinson this week, of course, and going into the game, asked him about the great running game last week, 137 yards against the Argos. That's a great front 7 too in Toronto, and he did a good job blocking up front. He said, yeah, that sort of, there was a lot of things that dictated that kind of play calling. So as Farhan mentioned on the sideline, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be that type of team every single game. Depends on the circumstance. And now down 17, even though it's early. See how much they go to Kadeem and to Dedrick Mills.
2nd and 1. Throwing here, Mayer over the middle. Michel hauls it in with tight coverage right on his back, and that's the first down of the game for the visitors.
And it gets them on knocking on the door to cross midfield. That's, you've got to basically baby steps when haven't had a whole lot of series. You haven't had the ball a ton, and when you do, you're getting penalties to put you in first or second and long. Looking for something positive.
Fresh set on their own 54, down 17. Mayer wide open, has a completion. Hakunavanu, and he's taken down just inside the 50, but 8 yards on first down for the Calgary Stampeders.
Now, having said all that, you know, at 17-0 this early in the game, the game plan doesn't have to be completely abandoned, and that was just a nice possession route from Hakunavanu to come back to the ball, get second in a real workable position with just 2 yards to go. Opens up the playbook.
Dedrick Mills into the game at running back, standing to the right of Mayer. They'll give him the ball, needing to. He's got it with more, all the way down inside the 40 on the final play of the first quarter. And Calgary trailing by 17, but showing some signs of life here late.
We have your son. Sounds to be a billionaire these days.
Welcome back to Vancouver, where you can't ask for a better start if you're the BC Lions. 17-0 lead, and Vernon Adams Jr. picking up right where he left off.
Accuracy is outstanding, and you always wonder about that with a guy coming off injury and has missed a couple of games, but Vernon Adams looks on the money. I mean, Calgary Stampeders hurt themselves with some penalties, but I've been really impressed. That's the headline after quarter number one. Vernon Adams on pace for 400 and looks sharp.
8 touchdowns too, if we want to do the pace thing. two passing touchdowns already. Calgary, though, finally getting an opportunity here to get something going offensively. Jake Mayer just completing 3 of 4 so far, but both of their running backs carries of about 9 yards. So if you can somehow work Carey and Mills in there together, that's a really deadly 1-2 punch.
You know, it is. I mean, you know, both look, you have to have the right guys to do it. It's like alternating quarterbacks at time, a 2-quarterback system. You have to have the right guys that are good teammates, and both these guys are.
Well, they told us earlier in the week, we chatted with Kadeem Carey, and he said they both see holes in the same way, and he said probably about 5 to 7 yards down the field, they're very similar backs. And then once they get out in the open a bit, he's spinning around and Mills is looking for contact. So
he said, we're almost identical at the line of scrimmage, but when we get into the secondary, we're completely different guys.
Mills is out there now, 27 carries last week, most that any running back in the league has had since 2018. Calgary works from the BC 39. They'll go to Mills, wrapped up and taken down. LeCombo was there waiting for him, and Barron was there to help.
Boy, that's a great play by LeCombo to get upfield. Like when you get upfield, you have to get upfield and stay square to the line of scrimmage. You turn your shoulders too much, you're going to get in trouble. So he takes on the block, stays square, and then slides to it. Look at LeCombo keeping his shoulder pads square to the line of scrimmage. If you turn in, you get beat. He's been solid all year. More than solid. All-star kind of year for LeCombo.
Back to the line of scrimmage, no further though. So 2nd and 10 for Mayer. Throwing down, and that one is missed. Right in and out of the arms of Hakunavanu, who was probably thinking turning it upfield for a first down.
He was, but his hand position was off too. You know, almost looked like he was trying to decide, does he turn left hand over right or right hand over left, or does he go to try and scoop it, and it just shot right through him. Can't throw it any better, and Hakunavanu will go over to Jake Mayer and apologize for that one, but it happens.
Staring at his own hands there.
I know. Why did you let me down?
How could you do that to me? Paredes to get him on the board. And you can give him 16 in a row. And Calgary in this game to Alex Hollins and Keon Hatcher. It's safe to say Vernon Adams looks pretty good in his return. For more on that, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Dustin, and not necessarily a surprise, because as far as that injury is concerned, the ligaments are structurally intact. It's actually more of a bruise than a ligament situation. And all of that said, I asked him, I said, is the brace more mental or physical? He said probably both. I think it does protect the injury a little bit. Asked him how much longer he'd wear it. He says not much longer. He doesn't expect to take it off soon. The Lions have taken a very conservative approach with injuries, but Adams himself said he felt the need to get back into the lineup sooner than later, both because of how the team played last week, but also because of Dane Evans' injury. He did suffer a fractured rib. He's still having a tough time twisting and breathing, but he hopes to be back in the next week or two.
Hatcher all the way down to the 45, and this was a very nice play from Vernon Adams.
Yeah, just making it up here. You know, we asked Vernon Adams about that brace so far, and just mentioned, and he told us it's the first time in his career, in college or high school or anything, that he's had to wear a brace, but he's not showing any ill effect from it because he's got some great movement back there, made it up on the way, and a nice little move by Hatcher in the inside cut.
25 yards for Hatcher. Now they'll go back to Hollins, spins away from one man. Second guy is Dozier, and he won't make any mistakes. Tracks him down at the 40.
So no Dane Evans. He's not dressed. So Dom Davis will be the backup to Vernon Adams. And they have dressed Chase Bryce out of Appalachian State. Played at Clemson and Duke as well. So that's the dressed quarterback group for the BC Lions here tonight.
Second and 5 for the Lions. Adams laid it out there. Hatcher tried to go get it. Good effort, but couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, it was the first throw that was slightly off from Vernon Adams, and he's kind of hopping to his left here. He has a defensive lineman tracking him down from that side, so a little bit to the outside, and we'll see Sean White, who's on a roll, as well as Paredes.
White coming into this game at 95.7% on the year. And as I mentioned earlier, perfect from inside 50 so far. This one from 47 to restore a 17-point lead. And there's just something about having a reliable kicker, isn't there? Well, it was a little weird last week to see Winnipeg put 50 up on the Lions defense that has been excellent so far this year. And a big part of that is this man right here, Gary Peters.
I had a great discussion with him this week. We got a chance to talk to Mr. Peters, who, according to PFF, is the shutdown corner right now in the CFL. The best #1 ranked corner, shutting down receivers, and second DB overall, behind Robertson Daniel.
First and 10. Mayer looking to throw out of the pocket on the run to the right. Nothing opening up. Tries to gut one in there for Michelle. And a flag at the end of the play. Market Michelle was waiting for that ball, and looks like he hauled it in.
Well, likely take the play here because the penalty would be about the same place. I think it was a little bit early contact. Catch the number of the DB that made the contact on Mark and Michelle on that curl. He sat down.
Pass interference. BC number 33. Results of the play is first down. Penalties declined.
Yeah, so they decline the penalty and take the play.
Rugamba, the guilty party.
Just a little bit early on the hit. You see, we back it up, and there's the contact, and then the ball arrives. And Michelle kept his concentration. Make the catch anyway.
Stamps offense at midfield here, down 17 early in the second. Near side, Odoms Dukes tripped up. Rugamba was there to slow him down. Short pickup on first down.
Every player makes a mistake, and then it's what you do in the very next play that matters most. And that's exactly what Emmanuel Rugamba does here. Gets the penalty. They took the play anyway, but he got the penalty, and he comes back and makes a play on first down.
Dukes, not available last week. Closing in on 500 yards on the season, though. Only Begelton has more than him on the Stampeders. Three-man rush. Mayer gets it away. Falls incomplete. Rugamba was lurking there against Begelton, and luckily for Mayer, that ball was not catchable for either of them.
Yeah, I think that's what Jake Mayer was looking at, because Rukamba had closed underneath this route. In other words, he took a chance that he was going for the football here. And I say it's a chance because if you miss it there and it's caught, it's a big gain after the catch for Begelton. But because Rukamba had cut underneath there, that's where Jake Mayer threw it way out in front, so only Begelton had a chance at it to avoid the interception. Just a little too far.
Cody Grace standing on his 45, and maybe a chance to pin the Lions deep to start a drive. Williams takes it just inside the 10, 44-yard kick, bounced off one man, but forced out of bounds just outside the 15.
May have given up a single there. Again, the magic yard line for this decision as to whether or not to let the ball hit the ground and see if it goes in the end zone or not and give up a point to get the better field position is right at the 10-yard line.
Look at him. He's past midfield.
PGA on TSN continues tomorrow with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Tune in for final round action. That'll start at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on TSN. Following along with that event a little bit earlier on today. Dickinson doesn't appear to be very happy right now, does he? First and 10 for BC on their own 16. They'll hand it off, and that is the best carry of the day for Mizell.
This is a guy that, you know, started out so strong, and then they've kind of gone away from, of course, in that game against Winnipeg. They were down so quickly. I mean, down by 14 right away. So went to the pass game a ton with Dane Evans and Dom Davis at that time. Vernon Adams not dressed for that Winnipeg Blue Bomber game. Well, had to dress in the second half, actually, which is another new one.
The old classic, throw your equipment on at halftime because you're on the roster. Back to Mizell again. Needed a couple of yards. Falling ahead at the end of that play will make it pretty close.
That's on the spot, but I think it'd be close enough that even deep in his own end that Rick Campbell likely goes for it here.
Got it anyway.
Got it. Yeah, that extra little push.
Yeah. If Wiggins able to stop him right there, that would have been a yard shy.
Got another yard.
BC's offense methodically picking apart Calgary here in the early going. 12 first downs already for BC as we near the midway point of the second quarter. Not to mention a 17-point cushion. First and 10. Stamps are going to bring heat. Adams picks it up, but it's batted away. And that was Alway again making a play defensively.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders need some inspiration to turn things around in this game. They should look no further than number 57. I mean, he is doing his thing tonight. He's playing great. He's flying around to the football. He comes off the edge free here and just times up his jump perfectly to knock it down. I mean, 57's having a game.
Couple of tackles already. One of them was a tackle for a 2-yard loss. And now BC facing 2nd and 10 from their own 27. Can Calgary's defense get off the field? Adams under pressure, takes off, finds some space, cuts it back. Heat coming from behind, but he's still going. And eventually it's Judge who eliminates him after a short pickup.
Take a look at the scramble rules as the receivers are going to try to find an open spot, but initially it's Mike Rose with that inside pressure, and then he goes way inside and then gets the chase from the right to left there. He turns VA back inside. Boy, how about that close though? Judge just laser beamed him.
Knees looked pretty good on Adams though,
yeah,
too.
Absolutely,
there, right?
Absolutely.
Low kick. Lewis has it hop, settles it down. And Tommy Lee Lewis, first look at him today, carries it back to the 45. He was involved in the offense last week. Hadji, for more on that.
Yeah, when you look at what Dedrick Mills did last week, it's even more impressive considering he actually missed a practice during the week because he was sick. He had a chest cold. It's been running through the Stampeder locker room. So the fact that he could wind up with a career-high 32 touches after dealing with that during the week was impressive. He himself wondered whether or not he was going to have the stamina and the wind to get through it, but he felt stronger as the game went on. There was a sticking point in the third quarter. He said once he got through that, everything was just fine, and he told Kadeem Carey after the game, you better get back soon, because if you don't, I'm just going to keep this thing rolling. And as far as he's concerned, Carey said the same thing. Yeah, he goes, I knew I wanted to get some of that candy myself. So another player that's used to a lot of touches, and Carey, they believe the two of them can really work well together, sharing touches tonight and going forward.
Well, another PFF stat for Dedrick Mills. He's second to Jamal Morrow in Saskatchewan of making people miss.
Yeah, 9, I think, forced missed tackles last week. Mayer stays in the game on short yardage. And looks like he has enough for a Calgary first down. But as a coach and an offensive coordinator, you got two great weapons there. Just a matter of getting them both enough touches to kind of get them into the game, right?
And maybe they can get both on the field at the same time.
That's real sneaky, yeah.
And, you know, that's another thing. You can double screen them. And, you know, which one does the linebacker and Ben Haladik, which one does he favor if both are on the field at the same time? The other positive for this is that they'll be fresh every time they get a chance to be out there.
Kadeem Carey out there now. Jake Mayer first and 10 at midfield. Mayer in trouble, gets it away, a high ball that falls incomplete. Odoms Dukes was over there. Mayer picked up off the turf with Betts in the area.
Well, one thing you're going to see is Dave Dickinson watching Kadeem Carey or Dedrick Mills pick up blitz pressure, because this time is coming from Matthew Betts off the edge. And there's a little chip block there. Just enough from Kadeem Carey. Well, he wants to get back on that.
He does, doesn't he? No
well, you
sacks.
know what's the issue is Willie Jefferson is on his tail now.
Yeah.
You can see Willie Jefferson in the review mirror.
10 sacks in the year for Betts, but none in either of his last two games. He's hungry. Second and 10 for Mayer. Down the field, far side, broken up. Looked like Peters had picked it. Michelle is who he was working against.
Already got 2 picks. He's got 6 knockdowns. It's press coverage. Gets up on the line of scrimmage. He's saying, I'm going to run with you. Gets a little bit of contact in the 5-yard zone. Turns his shoulders with great confidence. And just Market Michelle playing DB there. Pulls it out at the end. But you can't put a blanket on a receiver better than that.
Just great positioning for Peters.
Unbelievable. You have to throw it through him to get it there.
Kick from midfield from Grace. Williams just inside the 20, 37-yard kick. And Williams breaks a couple of tackles, spins off another man. And that's a pretty good return of 20 yards when there really wasn't much to work with. Multiple flags right at the end of the play.
That's interesting for Terry Williams. He's, you know, one of the guys that one of the leaders in the league.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 32. 15 yards, first down.
In return yards, it's going to take this return off the board, this penalty, but he hasn't really had the big one. You know, Mario Alford in Saskatchewan, we've seen a lot of returners with those big, huge 80-yard touchdown returns, but he's leading the league in overall return yards and chipping away at it.
Well, and he handles both duties, right?
Yeah.
The kick returns and the punt returns. And he does it rather consistently. But you're right, he's due. Right? He's due.
He's due.
Every time I do a Lions game, I sit down and go, okay, Williams is due. Here we go. Calgary containing him so far. Unfortunately for them, they trail 20-3. Adams, a ton of time, looks down the field for Hatcher, and he hauls it in again. Keon Hatcher, have yourself a day.
Dead on accurate from VA. and it just allows Hatcher a little bit of lean to get Kobe Williams to stay on that outside leverage, because he knows that he's going to get led right into the middle of the field. And watch that composure. Left hand over the right, rips it. Vernon Adams has to pay the price here for this 46 yards. We'll do it every time.
Mike Rose there to finish that play, but Hatcher 130 yards on 5 catches, and Vernon Adams is up to 228. This time they'll go back to the ground. Spin cycle from Mizell gets him an extra 5 or 6.
I've got my Game Boy or whatever you got. Whatever you got in your hand here, hit AA. Or what is it?
There's several different buttons.
Is this the Y? Is this the Y button right here? Watch it. Just hit the Y button, spin around. There you go. Get an extra 2 or 3.
And the footwork on that is just terrific. Look at his feet here.
Oh, yeah.
That would be frustrating as a defender, wouldn't it? 2nd and 3.
See him and then you don't.
Adams. Right up under center. Back to Mizell again. And this time he's grabbed and thrown down by Judge, but not until he's got a first down.
Hatcher coming across the field here, it really causes the defense to just edge that way a little bit. You know, it just is when you got a receiver on the fly like that, is he going to pitch it to Simpsey Awe, kind of shuffled towards Hatcher? It just gives him enough to get a few off the right side.
August 23rd.
Coming up at the half, no surprise, we're going to give a ton of love to VA, who's looking absolutely fantastic, on pace for 456 already in this game. Hatch is having a game, and what's going wrong with these Stamps? Boys will break it down.
Lots to discuss. And who was it?
It was Matty.
It was Matt Dunnigan.
Yeah,
He said Keon Hatcher, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Keon Hatcher. That's a Hall of Fame quarterback knowing where his weapons are.
Some people just know. Adams looks to his left, throws towards the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Lucky Whitehead, would have been his first touchdown of the season, but he was locked down by Nick Taylor.
Yeah, it looked like that Vernon Adams is limping a little after that throw, and I'm not sure if he planted in a weird way. It looked like it came out of his hands well, he just got bumped there by his own man.
Stepped on a bit. Big boy, step on your toes like that. That might hurt a little bit, eh? So 2nd and 10. Pressure coming right up the middle. Adams over the middle, and that is intercepted. Taken away at the 10, and who else? Mr. Everything for this Calgary defense. 2nd interception of the year for Awe.
Yeah, it takes points off the board because the BC Lions are obviously in field goal position here when they throw this. And Awe lines up all the way on the other side. He's going to track back into the middle as he drops into his pass coverage responsibilities. So Vernon Adams doesn't count him. He thought he was coming off the edge at the other side of the field, and he just disguised it, dropped into the middle. He doesn't count him in the coverage, and he cuts underneath that dig throw.
So keep points off the board, and still 2.5 minutes for Calgary to possibly make something out of this. First mistake of the day from Vernon Adams. First turnover of the game, 2 touchdowns, and now an interception. Jake Mayer, though, just 6 of 11 for 40 yards. They'll try to run it again. Kadeem Carey, and Carey pushes ahead on first down, strings it out wide, and picks up 9 yards.
Yeah, lots of time to run the offense here for the half. Just thinking points to take advantage of that interception as Micah Awe keeps adding to his stat line, which is getting very impressive in this first half with a ton of tackles. Interception now.
Second and short.
Knockdown as well for 57.
Yeah, that's a good game, let alone
Yeah,
the
exactly.
first half, right? And it's for a team that needed a spark here, of some type.
Now he can't play, on offense. not going to play on offense. So
maybe
they're going to have to get
Mayer. Odom's Dukes, quick little stumble, bounces back up, lunges ahead. And depending on the spot, should have a first down here.
Where he missed last week, Odom's Dukes was most targeted receiver in the league. I mean, 62 targets, and think about getting him back and engaged. He's got 3 targets tonight. He's got a couple of catches. He can be your big play guy. Get back in this game.
Real nice 1-2 punch with him and Reggie Begelton, who's well over 500 yards in the season as well. Mayer faced some heat, dumped it off to Carey, made a man miss. First down, Calgary, as they try to march down the field and cash some points here at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that's a big play in that regard. I mean, he's caught short, well short of the first down. He comes out of the backfield, looks to chip, and then he is just the check down. Alatic right there just overruns it a little bit. Nice inside move from 35 and 15-yard gain.
Betts eventually finishing him off. Mayer to his left. Oh boy. In trouble. Flag on the play as he throws down the field. Incomplete. That flag against Calgary.
Yeah, it's going to be holding on Josh Coker, it looks like. You know, and in fairness to offensive linemen.
Calgary number 54. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
To offensive linemen in this case, I mean, if your quarterback is holding the ball this long, he's up there at that right tackle spot. If you're holding this long and you're asking your guys to hold off this pass rush for that long, they let it go for a while there, but David Menard said that was way too long.
So back them up 10, first and 20 with 97 seconds to play in the half. To get some of that back here. Mayer to his running back.
So here's what Dave Dickinson says at halftime. He goes into the locker room and he goes, guys, penalties. Come on, focus in, lock in. No more bad penalties that are putting our offense in a bad situation. That's one of the reasons, the main reasons they're down the way they are right now in this first half. Defense got to take away the big play.
They need 14 more here to keep this drive alive. Mayer checks it down and it falls incomplete. Wouldn't have gone anywhere anyway. And on third down, they'll punt it away.
And the third thing that Dave Dickinson says at halftime is, hey, watch 57 play.
Yeah.
Just
do what he's doing.
Just watch your teammate fly around and get things done. He'll inspire everybody else to do the same. And remember, a couple of nights ago in Edmonton, the Elks had a 22-point lead on the Bombers.
Ended up losing their 22nd straight at home. Now this is blocked. Loose ball laying there. Lions pick it up and take over inside the 15. How's that for field position late in the half?
Team photo time. See if VA can capitalize on the special teams turnover. They're going after it. You'll see this when you're down and you've got a team backed up in their own end. Why not go for a block here? Wow, that was so quick. Matthew Betts was in the backfield before Grace even loaded it up. I mean, he just saw him before that ball. He didn't even block it. He knocked it out of his hand.
Yeah, he didn't even have to block the kick. He knocked it out of his hand. And now Vernon Adams is right back out there to blow this thing completely wide open. They'll hand it off. Mizell broke one tackle. They'll track him down and hang on to him from behind, does Titus Wall.
Yeah, that's what I remember from the first couple of games of the season where Mizell had those quick feet. I mean, his change of direction and speed when he's in a real tight space, he can just bounce back and forth. Look at how quick his feet is to just redirect and go completely back the other way. You better be solid on the backside defensively against those quick feet.
Working from the Calgary 6. Adams, near side. Mizell, end zone, touchdown! His second receiving touchdown of the year. And BC's blown it wide open.
He fought it. He fought it. It was one of those scenarios where Mizell is a push to the flat. Starts out right there in the backfield, and he's going to push out to the flat. And he juggles it. He caught it. He's fighting it. He's fighting it. He's fighting it. I got it. The ball is your friend, is his mantra right now. Off the top of his helmet and brought it down.
Doesn't have a rushing touchdown yet this year, but he's got a couple of receiving touchdowns now. Sean White, for good measure, 27-3. The third passing touchdown of the game for Vernon Adams here in the first half.
He's talking about it right now. It's like, I had it, and then it was like, oh, hang on, it's on my head, hang on, I got it.
But that's one that if you let go, they'll mock you forever, your teammates, right? Got it done, though.
VA out there going, okay, he reeled it in. Like a Pacific Coast salmon.
What a first half for Vernon Adams. And, you know, Mizell on the ground, 8 carries for 68 yards. He's been very effective in running the ball as well.
Well, when they got the big lead, they went to some run game on first down, which is great play calling by Jordan Maksimic.
So this is more on the Calgary offense or the Calgary defense here today. They've given up 27, and they've only scored 3. So
yeah, no, this is the now the third phase just chipped in the bad first half for Calgary with a bad protection for the kicker on the blocked field goal or punt.
Barnes, is there a late spark coming here? Barnes straight ahead. Taken down just shy of the Calgary 50. 37 seconds left and decent field position, but lots to discuss coming up at halftime with the panel. Kate and the crew. What's going on with Calgary on both sides of the ball, and how good does Vernon Adams Jr. look?
Well, that one pick when he was fooled by Micah Howey, who was at the line of scrimmage to his left and crossed back. And
that was a nice defensive play by
Great play by Howey. Disguise blitz, and best in the business get fooled at times on that. That's why you do disguise. That's why you do show blitz. That's what it's called. You get up on the line, you think, quarterbacks think you're going to blitz, and then you drop out of there across to the other side. Howey got him once. But what a first half for Vernon Adams. On fire.
Can Calgary find some sort of spark late here? Mayer out to his left. Odom's Dukes.
Time for a field goal here. You get a chunk play, 15, 20 yards. They've got a chance for getting Rennie Paredes out there.
Paredes is 6 for 6 outside of 50 this year. Nobody else even close in that category. 2nd and 1 here. Well, a chance to regroup at halftime for the Calgary Stampeders. After beating the Argos, taking one on the chin here so far. Mayer, Bangleton, first down at the 45 and into field goal range for a deep one from Paredes.
Now you gotta hustle. Maybe get 2-3 more plays in, because you can, if you get 10 here, you can take a shot at the end zone and then put your field goal team out.
From the 43, 3-man rush. Mayer tried to dump it off underneath, and that was broken up. Lecomble in pursuit of Odom's Dukes.
Yeah, I've got a terminology suggestion for the league office.
Okay.
So it's a knockdown if it's at the line of scrimmage or into the offensive backfield. So that would be considered as a defensive lineman at the line of scrimmage a knockdown. But if Bo Lecomble gets there without the knockdown, then it's a pass defended.
So you want a KD and a PD category.
There you go.
On the stats page.
Just a suggestion. Just a DB with a knockdown is a pass defended, where as a knockdown on the line of scrimmage is a batted ball.
Mayer takes off this time, finds some room, tracked down from behind by Betts, but does have the Calgary first down.
You're right about Matthew Betts. He is going full speed and trying to get whatever he wants to get back on that sack list. He's working a lot against Josh Coker up there, number 54, but look at the hustle.
Yeah, he looks like an actual lion hunting his prey. I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos on lions hunting, and that's what Betts looks like. And they will set things up with 7 seconds left here. Certainly within Paredes' range. Let's take one more look at
the lion hunting his prey.
Betts being a freak. There he is.
Just hustle, 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 beating all the other D linemen to the ball. The combo. And that big arm from the right coming down hard was trying to force the fumble, and Jake Mayer didn't even know he was back there.
Imagine taking a peek over your shoulder and seeing that guy coming at you. No thanks. So 2nd and 10 for Mayer. Just 5 seconds here, far side, and that one will go out of bounds with 2 seconds on the clock, and Paredes will trot out here for his 2nd field goal of the game. He's hit 16 in a row.
Yeah, a little issue there with the time, and that's why they had to waste a play, and that's why I think Dave Dickinson was halfway on the field there, upset with the official for some reason. Maybe the starting of the clock or whatever it may be. So they took a look. Good decision by Jake Mayer. He gave his kick team 2 seconds. He didn't have the deep ball, so put the field goal team out there.
It'll be from just beyond 40. Straight away for Paredes. Something positive to end the half for the Calgary Stampeders.
Lots of football to be played here in this second half. And you know that Calgary and Dave Dickens will make some adjustments. Again, they honored the Water Boys of the BC Football Hall of Fame here, and Wally Buono, and there was a great message on the big screen from Dave Dickinson and John Hupnagel as well, congratulating Coach Buono, who will always be coach to me, even though he never coached me.
Calgary will have the ball to start. Longley takes it and powers his way back just outside the 30, where Jake Mayer will get the ball. Here's a look at Jake's first half, 11 of 20 for 90 yards.
Yeah, I think Matty's assessment at halftime with, one offense kind of being conservative and underneath stuff, the run game and things like that, and one just slinging it around, and you know which has been which. But again, in that first half, penalties put Jake Mayer in a bad situation, 2nd and more than 10.
Try to stay disciplined and move the ball down the field. He finished 22 of 24 last week for just over 150 yards. And this one is dropped. That's Stevens, the other quarterback in the game. And he drops it. So an interesting way to start the half as they have both QBs on the field.
Okay, I like this. And here's Stevens here. He's the backup quarterback, short yardage guy. Now watch. You can have 2 quarterbacks on the field now. It's a relatively new rule in the Canadian Football League. And if that throw was behind, first of all, it's a live ball. It wasn't, because they all played it like it was incomplete. But if you throw it behind, he can throw it again.
2nd and 10 for Mayer. That's deflected and falls incomplete. So BC's defense picks up right where they left off, and Calgary will be dealing with a 2-0.
Yeah, this is under the category of pressure. So it's not a sack, but it's pressure. You get this pressure and collapse the pocket down. And now watch Jake Mayer throw as he's leaning away. He's backing up with the pressure in his face.
That was Banks who got his hands up on that one. Williams takes it cleanly at the 31 and is getting tackled at the 35 after a 48-yard kick. Vernon Adams Jr., different story than Jake Mayer. He's excellent in the first half.
Yeah, 15 of 20, 234 yards, so still on pace for over 400 and around 150 in the first quarter. He threw 3 touchdowns. Alway got him once, but other than that play, he was bang on the money.
Touchdowns to Hatcher, Hollins, and Mizell. This one, Mizell, a little bit of an adventure. Held on to it, though, for his second touchdown of the year, and that is why BC is in full control here, 27-6. Pressure this time. Adams gets it away, and it'll fall incomplete. Was looking for Hollins.
Well, there's already an adjustment. Already an adjustment by the Calgary defense. Try to put a little more pressure on Vernon Adams. It's number 4, sneaks up on the line of scrimmage, is free off the edge on a blitz. Close on the timing there, but I think it was a good no call by the officials.
Give him a little bit of a rougher ride here in the second half.
A push after the throw, but close enough that I think it was a good no call.
12 touchdowns now on the year for Vernon Adams. Empty backfield here, 3-man rush near side, and that one will fall incomplete. That's his running back, Mizell, who couldn't get to the spot.
So for Calgary and the attempt to begin this comeback, it is one step at a time. And the first step is when BC gets the ball for their first series, you need a 2-and-out. So Mike Alway trying to track down Mizell on that one. Cam Judge, the 2 linebackers, the guys who create the 2-and-out, give their ball back to Jake Mayer.
First 2-and-out of the ball game for the Lions. Low kick, Lewis hustling over there, takes it on a one-hopper. Spins and taken down after a 49-yard kick.
Enjoyed coming here because when BC Place is alive, it's a great place to play football, and winning makes it even that much better.
When Bobby Ackles brought you here, this organization was at a really low ebb. You brought it to a peak. It kind of trailed off a bit, but now the crowds are back, and you've got an owner here in Amar Doman who's doing some great things. How do you feel about what's happening here with this franchise?
Well, I think, just like when I came here, obviously you got to have a strong organization, a strong ownership, and they have that right now. And, Amar's doing all the right things. He's investing, in his football club. He's investing in getting the fans back into the game, and they got a very, very exciting football club, so the two makes a winning record.
You had a decorated career. It's probably fitting that you're here with Calgary because you've got the most wins for both of these franchises. What do you remember the most about your career?
Well, I think the thing I remember the most is, the great players and the great coaches and people that were involved with me. I was thinking about that, since I knew this award was coming, and there's so many. Good example is, Dave Dickinson, John Huffnagel, who, helped me here when I was in BC and helped me when I was in Calgary. You got to surround yourself with great people, and when you do, good things happen.
Congratulations, Wally.
Thank you.
He assures me, guys, he's not coming back.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, he could. I mean, the best of the best. I mean, Wally Buono, 254 regular season wins, 22 years as a head coach, and it is fitting that it's Calgary against BC because
it's the only way to have it.
Exactly. 9 appearances in the Cup, 5 championships as a head coach. Like, come on.
Tough to find a better resume than that. Here's Barnes. Another short completion.
He is maybe the most well-decorated football person in the country. I mean, and don't forget, he was 10 years as a linebacker with Montreal Alouettes. Started with the Concords, and then there's the 5 championship wins, a couple with the Lions, 3 with the Stamps. First place finishes, 13 of them. And 282 wins total, 254 in the regular season, the rest playoffs and championships. The best of the best.
2nd and 21 from there. Begelton nowhere to go, and no threat down the field from Calgary at any point in this football game just yet.
Yeah, they're going to have to start, really stepping in there and trying some deep shots, some vertical routes. I mean, this is what the Lions at this point, with the score the way it is, they'll want this all game long. Just throw it underneath. We'll rally to the tackle, and if you get a couple first downs that way, no big deal.
Don't want to compare Calgary to Winnipeg, but Winnipeg actually attacked the BC Lions downfield, and it worked. Everybody else, I think, has kind of been a little intimidated to do that against this great secondary, but it certainly worked for Winnipeg.
Well, more after the commercial.
Something.
Does the number have to be on the back?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, best game of the season so far tonight for Keon Hatcher. He's already at 130 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown.
Monster first half, and you just mentioned the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Well, Kenny Lawler has a 200-yard game under his belt. And Keon Hatcher said, why not me?
Within striking distance.
Absolutely.
Has the set of skills that can get it done, no doubt about it. And with Rhymes unavailable, obviously a lot of other bodies to step up for the BC Lions, but Hatcher the best of them so far tonight. 1st and 10, Adams on the roll to his right downfield, as accurate as you can be, and he guns it into the belly of Hollins for his team-leading 6th catch of the game.
Well, the accuracy in this throw is that it's low and away, because Hollins got coverage behind him. He's going to run the deep curl here, but he's got coverage behind him, so VA throws it down low and hard so he can protect himself from the hit coming from behind.
Exactly where it had to be.
Absolutely.
Pressure right up the middle. Adams trying to get away, but he won't. Calgary there to take him down for a big loss.
Well, this
first down.
Sorry, Dustin, this play was designed to try and get his back, Mizell, out in the open and maybe with some space, because they want Mizell out here, but guess who tracks Mizell down? It's Micah Alway. 57 goes and gets him, so now that little throw with 4 receivers to the other side of the field to get Mizell in some space isn't there any longer.
This Titus Wall that came right down the middle as well to pressure him up into the pocket. 2nd and 16. Adams in trouble again, trying to get away. No, taken down by Rose, his 7th sack of the season.
How about this? Defensive line setup. You've got Mike Rose out here. You got 2 defensive linemen, and all the way across, not any defensive linemen in this area. And the offensive line are looking at it going, well, who do we blitz? There's 3 of them, but they're in weird alignment, and they couldn't get there.
Hey, whatever you got to do, right? Give him a different look, and now a low snap. Flintoff just picks it up, kicks it away, but it'll be excellent field position here for the Stampeders, as some pressure on defense has led to some momentum possibly swinging in the direction of the Calgary. 12 a.m. Pacific. TSN and CTV, your home for exclusive coverage all tournament long, so you can stay up late or get up really early to watch semifinal action for the Women's World Cup. How long does that take, eh? The whole face. Have a gun and just shoot it right at you? That might be the best way. Kadeem Carey.
I'm with you, though, on that feeling like there's a little bit of a momentum switch going on right here. The defense got some pressure, and VA's got a couple of 2-and-outs under his belt all of a sudden. The Calgary defense playing better in the early part of this second half. Their offense in great field position because of the hustle on the special teams, and you just feel like Old Mo is moving to the red and white.
You know what doesn't get you back in this game, though? Field goals. Field goals, right? They have to put some majors on the board here when you're down 21.
Yeah.
An injured Stampeder, or injured BC Lion, rather. That's former UBC Thunderbird Ben Hladik, having a pretty nice year in the middle of that defense.
Well, I think Rick Campbell should be, congratulated the way he handles the ratio. And, I think it's something that some coaches fight against, and some coaches will actually lean into it and
embrace it
and find those great Canadians that are out there, and then really leaning on Matthew Betts, Ben Hladek, two of his best players,
Lacombe
and Bo Lacombe as well. You know, those three are the real heart and soul of that defense in the front seven. So he leans into it, empowers those guys to be leaders, and they become great players.
Josh Woods will slide into the game now, back on the ground. The flag here as Mills pushes ahead for a first down. But could this one be coming back?
And Josh Coker has been in a battle. It's either
4 yards to gain, holding. Calgary number 58, 10-yard penalty, second down repeated.
Well, I apologize if it wasn't on Coker, but he was talking big time with David Menard after that play. Sevier gets the call.
But that's a big play that gets wiped out by a penalty again, and now they're in 2nd and 12 and haven't really shown a willingness to throw the ball, 12, 15, 20 yards down the field. Big down here midway through the 3rd quarter. 3 options out to the left for Mayer. Looks that way. Hakunavanu has it, turns it upfield, and will be just shy of a first down.
But if you're Dave Dickinson down 3 scores,
you run Tommy Stevens out here.
You're 3rd and 2 in plus territory, because even if you don't get it, you're putting your defense in a decent position to try and get another 2 and out. But
and they will move quickly here. 3rd and 2. Mayer gotta have it. Not even close. Turnover on downs.
Now there might be discussion on the play call.
Yeah.
You mentioned Tommy Stevens coming into the game, and he can still throw it, so you could still go.
He also averages over 4 yards per carry this year on sneak,
exactly.
So.
And you could play but your regular offense with Tommy Stevens, run quarterback sneak there. Basically, they had on the routes, they had 2 out routes and 2 goes, 2 vertical routes and 2 outs. Again, the go routes are high percentage and or low percentage, and the out routes you have to be dead on accurate, and Jake Mayer wasn't.
They'll hand it off to Mizell, who gets spun around and taken down by TJ Rayo. Well, you had a chance there if you're Calgary to really sort of get back in this football game, and
absolutely
a penalty, and then the 3rd and 2 play call, and all of a sudden down 21 with 6.5 to play in the 3rd. Just 1 yard to Mizell. So 2nd and 9 here for Vernon Adams. Closing in on 250 yards through the air in this game. His return to the line. Calgary brings almost everybody, and that falls incomplete. So Calgary's defense has given them a shot here in the second half.
Well, that's why Dave Dickinson goes for it. But, that penalty, we can go back and take a look. They may have got the wrong number as well. Like Coker was wrapped up with his man. That put him in 2nd and 12. And that was a golden opportunity. Now, they can get another shot here.
3rd consecutive 2 and out for the BC Lions.
But what Calgary lost through that whole exchange was about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Lewis takes it cleanly. Looking for some room on the far side of the field.
This way! It's the number 12. Mozzarella Bella.
Go back to that holding call, because that was a golden opportunity lost by Calgary. There's Ryan Sevier right there, the right guard, and watch, he's going to, this is holding because it's a run play to the right. He's okay here, he's okay here, he's okay here, but then he grabs the jersey. And once he grabs the jersey like that and stops pursuit, that is the right call. It's a correct call by the official, and that is holding. So that puts them in 2nd and long, and now they've lost the field position advantage because of a penalty on the kick return team.
So back all the way up to their own 21. Kadeem Carey turning it upfield. When they get the ball to Kadeem Carey, he's been moving it extremely well. Just his 4th carry of the game. But
yeah, even in games where you're struggling, there are guys that are playing well. And, you know, I think Kadeem Carey, Mike Rose, Mike Alway.
Well, his 4 carries tonight are 9 yards, 9 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards.
Yeah.
So very close to a first down every time. Haladic back in the game. That's good to see. Unless you're a Stampeders fan watching at home. 2nd and 1. The ground again to Carey. And he is taken down. Should have had enough for the first down. That'll be a fresh set for Calgary here.
Cedric Mills will come in and give him a bit of a rest.
Nice tackle on the play by Thibaut Dubaye. So Mills checks into the game. Calgary's longest play of the night so far, 15 yards on a check down to Kadeem Carey that he turned upfield. Mayer with the fake, near side, Begelton wide open, and Begelton has a first down for the Calgary Stampeders.
The read here for Jake Mayer is all on Gary Peters and how Gary Peters reacts to it. If Gary Peters jumps this, he's right on the edge here. If he jumps it, then he throws it in the hole right here. He throws it right here. If he doesn't jump it, then he throws it to the hit screen. Peters jumps it, so he throws it in the hole.
Up to the Calgary 47. Just a couple of field goals from Paredes so far in the game today. Mayer has a man. Odoms Dukes stays on his feet. Still going, and they're going to give him about 7 or 8 when it's all said and done. Looked like that play might have been wiped out behind the line of scrimmage.
And Ryan Sevier wants to get back involved and make amends for that penalty early on, because he does give him a chance here on 2nd and short now after a real good second effort, personal effort from Odoms Dukes. But watch 58 come from the left of your screen. He wants to get involved here. Macombo's trying to, there he is. Right, blocking downfield.
Big second down here. Calgary 7 for 17 so far. Need 2 to keep this offense on the field. They'll give it to Mills. Mills has the 2. Probably with about 3 when it's all said and done.
The other good thing for Calgary with this 1-2 punch in the running back position is it creates competition.
Yeah.
You know, both guys want to one-up the next guy in a friendly competition way. I mean, that's the best teams in the league have great backups or great players behind the starters that push them every day in practice. And then when they get their turn on the field, you want to one-up them.
Mills' turn right now. Stands in there to the right of Mayer. Now slides out into the slot. Mayer gets this one away quickly. Michel has it. But there's a flag at the end of the play here as Michel turned that upfield on the far sideline.
There's going to be a late hit on Matthew Betts, who's been hustling and flying around full speed. And
major foul, roughing the passer. BC number 90. 15 yards added to the end of the play, an automatic first down.
The flag came out a little bit late, but I think they got it right. And the reason I say that is because Matthew Betts here, I think he could have pulled off of this. He took another extra step a little bit late and gave him a shot in the back. Now the ball was caught, but shorter than the penalty, so we'll take the penalty. He's been flying around though. He wants to get there.
1st and 10 for Calgary from the BC 27. Mills straight ahead. Decent chunk on the ground on first down.
Have to score major here. Have to.
Their first trip to the red zone. This ball sitting directly at the 20. Coming into the game exact same as BC actually in the red zone this year. BC does a lot of their damage from outside the 20. 2nd and 3. Back to Mills, breaks one tackle, has a first down, takes it to the 15, 6 more yards for Dedrick Mills, and now Kadeem Carey will check into the game.
That's the competition. That's the I mean, there was extra effort from 26 when Kadeem Carey was on the IR, but he breaks the first one. That was Josh Woods. And again, Dedrick Mills, number 2 in the league according to PFF stats in making people miss.
He'll watch Kadeem Carey now. 1st and 10. They go to Kadeem Carey. And boy, he tried to get free, but the Lions would not allow it. Menard all over him.
Changes the play calling a little bit when you're really going 3 down. I mean, I don't think a chip shot field goal is even being considered at this point. I mean,
it doesn't get you much, does it?
No.
Put together a drive here. This is the 10th play of this drive.
What I mean by the play calling, you could go another running play, get 5 because you're going for it on 3rd down anyway. Yeah.
Second and 10 from the Lion 14. Mayer gets it away. Incomplete. Odom's Duke's got a hand on it. And now in 3rd and 10,
go field goal.
They will trot out Paredes to make it an 18-point ball game.
Well, Dave Dickinson knows there's a quarter to play, and that is a lot of time in Canadian football. I mean, you can get 2 or 3 possessions in the final 3 minutes in the CFL, so he wants to take the points when he's in plus territory. Remember, they were turnover on downs the last time they were down there and got nothing. So that may have been part of this decision.
Paredes puts home his 3rd field goal of the game. He has been all the offense for the Calgary Stampeders so far. Conversation between coach and quarterback as they continue to look for answers offensively. We are through 3 quarters here at BC Place in Vancouver, and it is the
followed by Australia-England on TSN and CTV.
Well, Calgary not able to get anything going offensively. They trail BC 27-9 through 3 quarters.
You know, and it was a great ceremony for Wally Guano and the Water Boys at halftime, and I want to, on behalf of all of us at TSN, special congratulations to Wally. Certainly deserves the honor. And you know, when we would work with Wally as a broadcast team, he would sometimes sit down and do interviews, and he would convince you that you're looking at a blue sky. And he would tell you, no, it's not blue. He'd go no, it's not blue. And he would convince you that it wasn't. And he mentioned Amar Doman and just all the great things that he's been doing with his football team. And he's got the fans back in it. He's got the corporate part of Vancouver and British Columbia engaged again, doing all the right things. But congratulations to Uncle Wally. Tremendous career, and on behalf of everyone at TSN, well deserved.
Adams in trouble again. Throws this one up and away. And Calgary has been able to bring some pressure here in the second half.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised that the Lions aren't, you know, shifting to sort of Mizell on 1st down. That was play action to them. But, you know, they've got the score advantage, the 3-score advantage. Even with that field goal, it's still 3 possessions. And you want to grind the clock here, too.
Just 1 completion in the second half of Vernon Adams. Went for 12 yards. Looks to be throwing here again. 3-man rush over the middle. Hatcher gunned that one through a few bodies, didn't he?
Come on. That's an outstanding throw. I mean, he's got some pressure. He feels it. And Vernon Adams throws a dart here. I mean, this is a laser to Hatcher with pressure coming. Look at this. Come out of your break. Ball's there. Bang. Right in the hole. 21 yards in a tight window.
151 yards in the game for Hatcher. Back to him again. Has the catch. And had nowhere to go as Nick Taylor wrapped him up immediately.
Well, if you're Calgary, you know, one of the things that Nick Taylor or the Calgary defense can do is try to roll the coverage to Keon Hatcher. So if Hatcher's playing in the short side, you roll the corner up on him, make contact with him at the line, and have somebody over the top to help you. But they'll move Hatcher around too. It's hard to do that if he's a slot back to the field on the next play.
2nd and 1. Davis into the game, short yardage. And just straight ahead. Never in doubt. Job's done for Dom Davis. BC Lions putting together a drive here with this comfortable lead in the 4th quarter, looking to get back into the win column after that 50-14 defeat at the hands of the Bombers out at IG Field last week. The Calgary 36. Hollins, high ball, goes and gets it. Found a little bit of space and eventually is tracked down. One-handed tackle from Berglund, or else that might have been a house call.
So we talk about Hollins, we talk about Hatcher a ton tonight, and there's Hollins right there. Little quick hitch, doing a little bit on his own after that. And you know, there's a guy on the sideline not dressed that's not bad. It's going to be added fairly soon to the lineup, and there's Dominique Rhymes. Not bad.
They got a really nice receiving group, don't they? Oh. Adams wants to throw again. Finds some space in the end zone. Touchdown! First of the year for Lucky Whitehead. And a 300-yard game for Vernon Adams.
And yet another real accurate throw, and this may have been the toughest throw of all of them to be accurate on. He's going to run into his own offensive lineman first as he tries to climb the pocket. Vernon Adams bounces off of that. That's to the left. Here he goes. He runs into his own guy. Now watch as he twists that shoulder around and the whole body to get back against the flow and get it. That's a long time coming. Get out there to Whitehead. It's first touchdown of the season. I keep double checking.
I know. Doesn't make sense, does it? But there's so many mouths to feed in this BC offense. Regrouped, found him. And for more on that, let's send it down to Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, you guys talk about this being Lucky's first touchdown of the season and how he really needed this. And yeah, that has been the case. I think he has been a little bit frustrated. And earlier in the game, the Lions had a 2nd down attempt to Lucky, and he just wasn't ready for it. He was asleep at the switch, essentially. He has been a little bit disengaged at moments in this game. In fact, after that, Keon Hatcher went to Whitehead on the sideline, and you got the sense that Hatcher was encouraging him and trying to keep him dialed in, that we're going to need you a little bit later.
The return,
but I
the legal
do think
block.
that he's not used to this, not being that guy that is able to stretch defenses over the top and being a high-volume guy. He's had one big game this year. That was the win in Winnipeg. Since then, it's been slow, and it has affected him. Maybe that touchdown gets him out of it.
Oh, it certainly could work.
Well, yeah, and he'll have his time. I mean, you know, when you, as I mentioned, that when defenses, if they decided to roll their coverage towards, say, Keon Hatcher or Dominic Rhymes when he comes back, well, that gives him one-on-one to a guy like Lucky Whitehead. So that's when Vernon will start leaning on him more. And, you know, I think...
This is Candy on the bench thing. Candy on the sidelines, eh?
He is a character, man.
Kadeem Carey. It works him back in relatively well, returning to the line. You can give him 7 more on that play.
And, you know, all week long, I was asked the question, radio cross country and things like that, just asked the question, was that a one-off in Winnipeg?
For the Lions D.
For the Lions D. Was that a one-off, or are they kind of facing sort of a reality because they were just so dominant in the first 8 weeks?
Yeah. They gave up a lot of points to Toronto, but that was in VA's 6th interception game, and it was short field position. And here's Mayer down the field, and that falls incomplete. He was looking for middlemost.
That was the first time they tried to push it, and Jake Mayer took a hit in the process. But yeah, in the first 8 games they were averaging, when they were on defense, I think they were averaging less than 10 points a game allowed in the first 8 games of the regular season, and then 50 points put on Ryan Phillips' group in the Winnipeg game.
You had to think his group was going to bounce back, right?
No question. And
Calgary is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
And when we talked to Gary Peters, he was adamant they would bounce back.
Well, Calgary challenging for Well, this is the play that is being challenged. Here's a look at it, Suits. What do they see here?
Well, when you look at the scoreboard, I'm not surprised that, Dave Dickinson just tried it. I don't see, there's a little tap and not really a rerouting of the receiver or anything, and no grab at the end.
Well, pretty stunned if this is overturned, but let's find out.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Calgary, by losing a challenge, lost a timeout. It's 3rd down.
If you want a little bit of a stunning stat, Dave Dickinson is now 1 for 7 on challenges this year. Grace kicks it away. That's going to back Williams up. Takes it cleanly at the 35. And flag right at the point of him catching that ball. Oh, it's Purolator Tackle Hunger Day here in BC, and of course since 2003 Purolator, along with the CFL and its members clubs and Canadians like you, have helped the Tackle Hunger program donate close to 20 million pounds of food to local food banks, and the need is greater now than ever before. Food bank usage is up 35% over the last 4 years, and here in the Lower Mainland, the Greater Vancouver Food Bank supporting 16,000 individuals and families. You can head to purolatortacklehunger.ca to donate. And here's a look at the rest of the schedule for Purolator Tackle Hunger.
Yeah, thanks to football fans for bringing out the food or donations that you're making to help fellow citizens in the community.
Means a lot to families in need. Oh, boy. How about that play?
Almost.
Hatcher with the strong hands to hang on to that one for catch number 8.
Brad Mohammed that shot through there. This is a point where, if you're in the linebacking core secondary, you want to take some chances. I mean, another touchdown on the board is not going to be a big deal. You just take some chances, try and
make a play,
because you're running out of time.
Gave him 8. 2nd and 2 for Adams. This one back to Hatcher, trying to stretch out, and a flag at the end of the play, being hit as he stretched, I believe. And that is what Calgary's defense is going to argue, that he was trying to stretch ahead, so he was still able to be hit.
Yeah.
Which they may have a case for it.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 57. 15 yards added to the end of the play. Automatic 1st down.
Yeah, I think in fairness to Alway, he's seeing Hatcher still fight for it, and even if Dave Dickinson had a challenge, he couldn't. That's not a challengeable penalty.
So up to the BC 50. Mizell out into the flat. Adams wanted to go the other way. Now he will to Katoy. Katoy trying to get free. And they blow him down. The crowd doesn't like the quick whistle. It's a load of a man to try to hang on to, isn't it?
Well, and it's a little DB trying to do it. 5'10", 180. Kobe Williams is like, he's out here going, okay, I'm going to just hog tie this big bull here. And well, no, I don't have him. But they blew it dead. You know, sometimes the officials will say that the forward progress is stopped.
That's what they were saying there, right?
I would guess that's the decision they made. That's quite the mismatch weight-wise.
It's like me wrestling with my son at home, man.
How old is your son again? 8?
He's 8, but he's also huge. Here's Adams. Under pressure, taken down. Dozier comes through with his second sack of the season, and a guy that we were told is having a really nice year for the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, that we should be watching number 3 because he is playing well, and it's like Vernon Adams, real slow to get
Glenn,
up
what
there
about
too.
number 3 on the other side? You probably can throw Dom Davis in the rest of the way.
I would think so. Yeah, you're at that point now.
Coming off an injury.
Here comes Dozier. They're again on the blitz, but yeah, I think that would probably be the last series for him anyway. Either way, but limping off, I would guess Dom Davis starts warming up.
Flintoff just gets this away. Lewis just inside the 20. Great depth. Time now for your Coors Light moment of chill. It's been a pretty chill night for these guys, the BC Lions offense.
VA and Alexander Hollins hanging out dancing. VA and Keon Hatcher, another different dance. Touchdown. And the whole receiving core. Lucky Whitehead in there. He has a touchdown tonight. Oh, what song it was.
We've got a new quarterback in the game for the Calgary Stampeders. And it is Chris Reynolds.
Wow. Throw pick.
That does not go well, does it? Gary Peters immediately picks him off. Tough way to start.
Yeah, and I would say that, you know, I would say that it was a one-off. To give up 6 explosion plays, this BC defense against the Bombers, it's safe to say that it was a one-off. The way they've shut down Calgary here tonight.
Get into the game, have a chance to throw the ball and right in Gary Peters' direction. That's a tough call to make.
Number 1 corner in the league.
3rd interception of the year for Peters. He almost had one earlier in the game. Michelle kind of sort of stopped running on that route too, which left things open for Peters. Davis into the game, connects with Whitehead, wrapped up immediately by Roberson.
Good decision here. Get Dom Davis in the game. There's 6 minutes left. You saw your starter limp off after that last one. He went down. It looks like he's going to be fine, but Dom Davis taking over for Dane Evans last week.
And they're not expecting Evans to be long-term either, right? So
exactly.
Veteran quarterback room here for the BC Lions.
Well, you got to protect your starter, especially the way Vernon Adams played tonight. Like,
you mean one of the best games of his career?
It's outstanding. There's Dane.
Adams, just the 3rd time in his career he's thrown 4 touchdowns in a game, and the 11th 300-yard game of his career. Mizell on the ground. And Sean White will trot back out here and tack on 3 more.
Well, they've already played once. This is game 2, and there will be a 3rd game that the BC Lions will play Calgary in the last game of the regular season. So
season series wrapped up here tonight.
Season series wrapped up, and wrapped up because this guy was bang on accurate. I mean, not sure what the quarterback rating will be for Vernon Adams, but played an outstanding game. Just the one away play. Other than that,
40 yards straight away and straight down the pipe from Sean White. He's now hit 16 in a row. And with BC bouncing back here with a win, he's at top of the West. Very interesting between them and the Bombers.
Oh, yeah.
Third game, third head-to-head meeting looming in early October. It seems like a long ways away, but she'll come quick. So Reynolds stays in the game here. Hand it off. Nowhere to go.
Yeah, you know, I think you go look at Jake Mayer's game now and say, you know, what's the direction they go here? Not to suggest that Jake Mayer doesn't stay the starter. I'm not doing that at all. Mayer is the starter.
He's the guy, yeah.
And the bottom line was, you know, this was part of a first half of penalties that put the offense in a bad situation. And in the second half, they got so far behind in the score that changes everything. But it was partially a little bit of the play calling too. You know, when you are throwing hit screens, and you can't get vertical. It's hard to, you know, come back from the deficit.
Reynolds gets it into the hands of Michelle, but it'll be third and about 5 here. Reynolds, 24-year-old out of UNC Charlotte.
So even with this defense for BC, despite that Winnipeg game, they were still first in the league in points allowed, only allowing 18 per game, even after the 50 that Winnipeg put on the board. And Ryan Phillips' group is going to improve on that and lower that average. They hold them off the scoreboard the rest of the way.
Well, 95 points allowed in 2 games. Outside of that, so stingy.
2 shutouts.
2 shutouts. Held the Riders to 9, held Winnipeg to 6, held Calgary to 15 the first time they met. Montreal scored 19, and that seems like a pretty good total against this BC Lions defense.
Wash. Get healthy looking, smooth feeling skin all day.
Just looking for his final numbers, VAs.
Piano and the celebrations. Hey, if there's a fine, that's covered, right, Suits?
Well, we talked to Gary Peters this week, and we asked, and you asked him, are you working on any of the new celebrations when you make this comeback after the Bomber game? He goes, well, we actually have a coach who says we should be celebrating when we're playing real well and enjoy it. Have some fun out there. And he said, if you guys get fined for excessive celebration, I'll pay the fine. Now, they didn't get a penalty there, so there's no fine yet. Ryan Phillips' bank book's still okay.
Well, when you're having success, you might as well have some fun while you do it, and that's what tonight has been for the BC Lions. 3 field goals, and that's it.
Yeah, you got to have fun. You got to, you know, enjoy it. I mean, it's your job. It puts food on the table, but it's still a game when you get out there, when you cross the stripe. Play together, play for each other, and go and have a ton of fun.
Lions will be in Regina next Sunday for a game with the Riders. It'll be an interesting week for the Riders, no doubt. Back to Mizell. Wrapped up. And Calgary gets another one against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, their second head-to-head meeting of the year. Here's a look at the standings in the West right now, and a couple of big boys right up at the top.
The big dog on the porch, as Matt Dunnigan used to talk about. Yeah, there's 2 dogs on the porch right now in the West, and Saskatchewan, after the loss to Montreal last night, dropped to 4-5. You know, Calgary's next couple games, they have BC tonight, then they got Winnipeg and Toronto.
Yeah.
Around the corner.
An angry Toronto team.
Yeah, absolutely.
After the loss.
They play tomorrow.
Last week. Lewis tracks this ball down.
Didn't get Lewis involved either this night.
He had 10 targets. 9 catches last week, but with a healthy group. Not in the mix offensively. CFL on TSN continues tomorrow with a showdown between the Red Blacks and the Argonauts. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Don't miss the action only on TSN. Chad Kelly, who left that loss to Calgary, good to go. Ready to try to get Toronto back into the win column. But Calgary's hung around a lot of games. Calgary has been in close football games and just came up empty.
6 of 8.
Yeah.
Coming into the night, decided in the final 3 minutes.
So this is not something that we've seen from the Calgary Stampeders. Their losses this year by 10 to the BC Lions, by 3, by 13, by 2, by 7. And now this one, they're taking on the chin, down 28.
Yeah, I got to go back and look. Now they're getting some guys back. Odom's Dukes tonight.
Kadeem Carey's there.
Yeah, Kadeem Carey back. I mean, they're in an all-out fight right now with the Riders in that 3rd spot in the playoffs in the West.
It's been interesting, though, because Jake Mayer was throwing the ball a ton, putting up some big yardage, but turning it over in the air. League leading worst 11 interceptions. The last 2 games, they've been trying to play a little bit more conservative, and they won against Toronto, but today they really didn't have a sniff offensively here with that same sort of mindset, right?
Well, they got the run game going against Toronto too.
Yeah, that's true.
Which really helped, and that changed the game plan. In fact, Dave Dickinson told us that part of when Chad Kelly went down, that affected our play calling. When Darius Pickett on defense for the Argos went down, that affected our play calling a little bit. He said that's an all-star linebacker that really gets to the ball, so we ran it a little bit more. It'll you know, every game's a journey, and he got down early here, big time, because of some penalties that put their offense in a hole.
Williams takes it at the 15, and he is contained immediately. Darius Williams was there. Now some frustration showing late in this ball game as the BC Lions, they're going to remain perfect at home, which,
well, it's a fun team to watch.
It could make things interesting come playoff time, right? So,
you know, like this, Rick Campbell's got a great group of talented playmakers on offense, and if VA continues to evolve and the arrow goes up like it did tonight, there's no reason to believe it won't.
It's also an offensive group that has only had everybody together a couple of times.
Yeah.
Right? Whitehead's missed some time. Hatcher was out early in the year. Rhymes has been out. Adams has been out. Mizell was out.
Yeah, and this guy, Vernon Adams, keeps adding to my admiration of the team first, team time kind of guy. We found out this week, not from him, but from his coach, that he helps in the locker room.
Holding. BC number 95. After the play, 2 misconduct fouls against BC number 95, Calgary number 23. It's first down BC.
All right, his coach told us that Vernon Adams, because he's always the first in, last out, will often help the janitors and the guys cleaning the locker room put the laundry in the laundry baskets. And he'll walk around, he says, and then I asked him about it, and he goes, yeah, I do it every game. You know, whatever it or every, you know, every practice, whatever it takes. We're all in this together. I just thought, oh,
well, you
man,
want to keep busy.
You're adding to it. That little team time, that's taking it to a whole new level. It's one thing to get on the right side of your own line and take care of them. It's also your receiving core, and then you start helping the laundry staff and stuff. That's pretty cool. I just,
my family back home, they all camping in California. I love y'all, mom, dad, my sisters, my grandparents. Shout out to my nana, rest in peace. Shout out to the rest of the extended family at the lake.
Family's camping. I hope they're streaming. I hope they're streaming the game, because if not, they missed a big one. Calgary, it's interesting. This one's going to sting a little bit, coming off a high there, beating Toronto. But still, with things going on with the way they are with the Riders right now, I mean, that third place in the West is,
it's going to be a fight
there for the taking.
And I'm not sure the crossover is even going to factor this year. It might be. Well, there's a lot of football to be played. We'll see, but you want to make sure you secure one in your division, and the fight for third between Saskatchewan and Calgary is going to be intense.
Yeah, top 2 spots pretty much wrapped up. Davis heaves this one high and out of bounds.
Could it be the first east crossover to the west? Ottawa gets on a bit of a roll.
I mean,
Timer, please put 2 seconds on the clock.
Montreal
2
and
seconds
Toronto.
on the clock.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, Montreal, what they did last night.
Big win against Saskatchewan.
Pretty impressive. They're going to throw 2 seconds back on the clock here, wrap up this one.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not even Labor Day, and we're talking about the playoff races, but...
No, but I mean, there are good playoff races shaping up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting team, this BC Lion team, though. It's got explosive playmakers on offense. They got a real good lockdown defense, veteran secondary. I almost speculated about a Western final, and I'm not gonna.
It's too early. It's
stop.
too early.
Just stop. Is that what you're saying?
They still have to play one more time.
Yeah, I know.
And that's a huge one. And now Calgary, with 2 seconds left, they're going to hand this ball off.
Exactly. That might be for first place in the division all the way to the end.
Bingo. Yeah. It'll be just like a playoff game, so you don't have to worry about that. This one, not like a playoff game here tonight. A statement from the BC Lions, if you were worried or concerned after their 36-point loss at IG Field to the Bombers.